and was a poke in the tender parts of her heart. What about all the bedtime books Miko insisted I read 1,000,000 times? Not to mention culinary school textbooks and cookbooks. That's all for work or part of parenting, but for fun? She gestured to the book nestled in the box. May I? Be my guest. Regina thought back to the very last fun book she'd undertaken. It hadn't been for fun at all, but for a book club, the only book club she'd ever been a part of, in upstate New York when she was still on active duty in the Army. The Sky is Everywhere. That was the last book I read for fun. She half smiled at the memory of the chaotic circle of hens, and a couple of roosters, that had comprised the Millersville Book Club, and a pang of regret sliced through her heart. She heaved a breath. But anyway, Henry and I were DMing about books chefs should read, and I guess he took our conversation to heart. Alexis nodded in approval. Blood, Bones, and Butter, the inadvertent education of a reluctant chef. Looks older. He said he found it at his local used bookstore. So thoughtful. Alexis flipped the pages. And now the pressure's on. Time to get reading. He might ask at some point if you enjoyed it. Regina pressed her lips together. In truth, she didn't have time to read. Heck, she didn't have time to stand around to even talk about reading, if she was being honest, because every minute not earning money meant she was losing it. Or maybe, because we're so far away, I don't have to. 2 whole states separate Georgia from Virginia. He won't ever know. Well, I think it's sweet. Though at some point, maybe you should speak, like on the phone or video chat. It's ridiculous how much you've flirted without actually communicating in real life. We're just friends, Regina said. Uh-huh. Online friends with imaginary benefits. Alexis cackled. Funny, har. She pretend flipped an imaginary shirt collar. That was pretty good, if I say so myself. Regina busted out with a laugh. She couldn't help it. From behind them, a crash sounded, followed immediately by the clatter of dishes. Regina winced at what she imagined had found its way to the floor, perhaps the tray of vegetables from Pickett Farms, which she had driven 2 hours for. But she didn't move. What the hell are you guys doing over there? Alexis pressed her hand against her blonde hair, which was pulled taut into a bun, and went to the doorway. With her back to Regina, Alexis took command of the chaos that had erupted. Both former military, Regina and Alexis had divided up the labor so that it ran like an army unit, like a chain of command. Their system had worked, thus far. Regina found comfort in using the rules that had been ground into her since becoming a soldier, and she thought it the right way to do business. Regina was the good cop, and Alexis, the scarier one despite being the smaller of the two, was the bad cop. They both abided by standard operating procedures, by lists, by following orders. Finally, she and Alexis believed in bluff, bottom line up front, with the overall business mission taking precedence over feelings and emotions. All truly the Army way, despite Regina having left the Army more than 7 years ago. When Alexis turned back to her, she said, Okay, back to our business. As I was saying, I'm stepping out for about an hour. Are you due anywhere? Nope. I'm here all afternoon. Great, because... Alexis's shoulders slumped. We need to do another monthly roundup. She gestured toward the local Boy Scout troop calendar on the wall, open to the month of March. The picture was of 2 scouts whittling down pieces of wood. One of these scouts, fair-skinned and freckled but with dark brown eyes and hair, was Regina's son, Miko. Regina dropped her eyes, and the last bit of warmth she'd felt from her receiving the package shriveled up. The talk of business finance.